Hello and welcome back to Better Know a Poet. Today, H is for Hardy, Thomas Hardy, a very interesting figure who's known both as a poet and a great author of novels in the 19th century. Thomas Hardy is a fascinating transitional figure, being both one of the greatest novelists of the 19th century and one of the most unique poets of the 20th. His poetry, in addition to being filled with his own personal and philosophical reflections about the nature and the universe of the universe and man's place in it, dealt directly with the social, cultural, and religious concerns of the time. Thomas Hardy was born in Dorset, England in 1840 and lived to the age of 88, writing and publishing until just 3 years before his death. A majority of Hardy's works are set in Wessex, the fictional name of the region in southwest England where Hardy grew up. Hardy was the eldest of four children and grew up in a rural area separated from much of the educational advances he so desired. Being a member of the growing artisan class, Hardy's formal schooling was ended at the age of 17 when he was apprenticed to a local architect. From then on, Hardy's vocation was that of a stonemason and a draftsman or designer, maker of blueprints. At the age of 22, Hardy moved to London and became a draftsman in the office of Arthur Blomfield, a leading ecclesiastical or church architect. In his mid 20s, lack of funds and a growing atheism forced Hardy to abandon his dreams of university education and eventual ordination to the Anglican priesthood. Back in the day, if you wanted to be a professor, you had to also be a clergyman and swear allegiance to the Anglican Church. Motivated by his own private study, Hardy began a systematic program of reading and writing poetry, much like Robert Browning in the years before him. However, when none of his initial poems were published, he turned to prose writing as a practical way of establishing himself as an author. Though his first novel, The Poor Man and the Lady, was never published, his second novel, Under the Greenwood Tree, introduced readers to his developing, unique authorial voice. In 1870, Hardy met his soon to be wife, Emma Gifford, who encouraged and assisted him with his endeavors as a novelist. His work during the next 25 years produced a number of some of the most successful novels of the era, including A Pair of Blue Eyes, Far from the Madding Crowd, The Hand of Ethelberta, The Return of the Native, The Trumpet Major, A Laodicean, Two on a Tower, The Mayor of Casterbridge, The Woodlanders, The Well Beloved, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and Jude the Obscure. This last novel, published in 1895, so scandalized the reading public with its depiction of the immoral cohabitation of its hero and heroine that the popular reaction motivated Hardy to stop publishing novels altogether and turn to poetry. During the next 30 years, Hardy published 9 collections of poetry, including one published after his death in 1928. Upon his death, Hardy was interred in Westminster Abbey, while his heart was buried in the churchyard of the rural English South he called home. Hardy's poetry deals with the social and cultural issues of his day, while his invention of the immanent will gives voice to his view about blind supernatural fate, which appears in much of his poetry and prose. And the poem I'm going to read for you today is called Channel Firing. It is a reaction against the gunnery practice in the English Channel just before the outbreak of World War I. When people saw this gunnery practice take place, they knew that they were on the doorstep of war, and a big one. So this is Hardy's sort of poetic reaction to that occurrence, to that event. And this is called Channel Firing. It's a really great poem. It's one of my favorites, and it's just really fun. That night your great guns unawares shook all our coffins as we lay, and broke the chancel window squares. We thought it was the judgment day, and sat upright, while drearisome arose the howl of wakened hounds. The mouse let fall the altar crumb, the worms drew back into their mounds. The glebe cow drooled till God called, No, it's gunnery practice out at sea. Just as before you went below, the world is as it used to be. All nations striving strong to make red war yet redder, mad as hatters. They do no more for Christ's sake than you who are helpless in such matters. that this is not the judgment hour, for some of them's a blessed thing. For if it were, they'd have to scour hell's floor for so much threatening. Ha ha! It will be warmer when I blow the trumpet, if indeed I ever do, for you are men, and rest eternal sorely need. So down we lay again. I wonder, will the world ever saner be, said one, when he sent us under, in our indifferent century? And many a skeleton shook his head. Instead of preaching 40 year, my neighbor Parson Thirdly said, I wish I'd stuck to pipes and beer. Again the guns disturbed the hour, roaring their readiness to avenge, as far inland as Stourton Tower, and Camelot, and starlit Stonehenge. See you tomorrow.